Copeland Styles, offensive line.
J.D. Livingston, offensive line.
Caleb Boylan, offensive line.
Landon Page, offensive line.
Pearson Tucker, offensive line.
Eli Rooks, tight end.
Chase Webb, wide receiver.
Zach Laws, receiver.
Carson Mann, wide receiver.
Luke Stubbs, wide receiver.
William Tonsmeyer, running back.
Bruce Littleton, H-back.
Owen Simpson, kicker punter.
Brady Glenn, offensive line.
Charlie Taft, quarterback.
Josh Arendall, D-line.
Rush Harper, defensive line.
William Plaisance, defensive end. Yates Bannon, edge.
Preston Bruno, linebacker.
Cross Tonsmeyer, linebacker.
Spence Hanna, free safety.
Owen Wilbanks, safety.
Larry McSwain Jr., cornerback.
Leighton Downey, corner.
So the Rebels will stay against a Region 2 opponent last week, number 3, Carver down in Montgomery at the Crampton Bowl. Doesn't get any easier. Here's number 4, Auburn. Keith Etheridge, in his 4th year. What a murderous schedule that you and I have talked about.
When you talk about Region 2, we've always talked about Region 3 and how tough it is in that Birmingham area, and it is. It's the premier division in all of high school football in the state of Alabama. But Region 2 has really stepped it up. If you look at the teams that are playing in that region, they have 4 of the top 8 teams. Central Phoenix City out of Region 2 is number 1. Enterprise out of Region 2 is either number 2 or 3, depending on the poll that you look. This Auburn team is number 4. And then Carver Montgomery is number 8. And so they've moved into that poll, which is really incredible, kind of what this division has done, the way that they're playing, and it's 2 versus 3. This is why you schedule these type of matchups. This is what Coach Evans has done to try and get his team ready for what's going to be an incredibly difficult schedule, and the captains are walking out to the field.
It doesn't matter if you're in college or in high school. You want your preseason or non-conference as strong as possible, because what counts is going to be next week and the week after and the week after, and that's called region play. Top 4 teams in the region will advance to the postseason, so this gets you ready for competition. And when you take a look at Auburn, speaking of competition, what was eye-popping for me is the size of their offensive line. And Coach Evans told us during the week, he said this could be and should be the best offensive line in the state of Alabama. Let me just give you the figures here. Clem Womack, 6'3", 270. Tucker Auburn is the left guard, 6'1", 300. Wait till you see the size of the massive center, Hugh Bodiford, a senior at 6'3", 330. Aiden Platt, the right guard, 6'3", 285. Trenton Pritchett, a junior, 6'4", 250. And so the Rebels front line is going to have to get past that wall that will be protecting the lefty quarterback, Jackson Kilgore.
And Kilgore has a great weapon in the backfield with him, Omar Mabson. He's the feature back for this Auburn football team. He's a junior. He has over 20 offers already from the biggest schools that you've heard of. Last season, he ran the ball 166 times for 1,283 yards. That's a 7.7 yards per carry average. He averaged over 100 yards per game and had 16 touchdowns. Last week, he had 12 carries, 110 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground against North Central Miami. Again, that was not a particularly strong opponent, but Auburn went out and dominated. They won the game 49-0, but they were up 42-0 at the half.
When you look at Mabson, that's also a key for the Rebels, trying to slow him down. You might not stop him, but you just don't want to watch him run hog wild. And besides every SEC school giving him an offer, he picked up recent offers from the Tar Heels at UNC and out in Southern California. As Lincoln Riley says, Omar, you want to come across country and play for the Trojans?
And both teams now taking the field. This is an electric atmosphere here tonight. And that's one thing Coach Evans talked about this schedule. He wants to give his kids opportunities to play in big-time games. This field is packed on the other side, and they've been here for a while. We got a pretty good crowd on the Vestavia side as well, but it's loud, it's enclosed. It's an older stadium, but one that they've renovated, an incredible field house down in the end zone, a brand new big Jumbotron video scoreboard. And so this is a phenomenal place, a great atmosphere, what should be a very fun, entertaining high school football game here on Friday night.
And look what Keith Etheridge has accomplished as a head coach. His first 3 years, the Tigers have gone 10-3, 12-2, 9-3. They're also 1-0 already this year. And they will host the Rebels 0-1 and coming off a 41-19 loss to another Region 2 team, Carver out of Montgomery. So week 2 almost underway. Auburn is going to kick. Joseph Daniel, their kicker, and back to receive. Carson Mann. And on the near side, that's Luke Stubbs. So Mann and Stubbs. A warm night in Auburn. 97 degrees with the real feel. I said it was hot and steamy. And here we go. That's Mann. He will let it go. It'll be a touchback. Chad, we have a brand new sponsor. We welcome Aaron Cummings aboard, and he will help us out with our keys to the game.
And for Vestavia tonight, it starts very simple. Eliminate the turnovers. 5 turnovers last week for Vestavia. Can't have that happen. Prevent the big plays. Carver was able to get big shots down the field. Take advantage of those of the Vestavia secondary. They have to be able to keep everything in front and then control the tempo of this football game. That's something that we typically see Vestavia go fast, fast, fast. I think that's going to be moderated tonight, and we'll have to watch how that plays into this football game as it goes along.
Aaron Cummings, Rocky Ridge Road. Charlie Taff, only a sophomore, with a man in motion. Going around the far side. That's Mann on the carry. One of your wide receivers, Carson Mann. No Chase Webb tonight. We won't see Chase Webb and Owen Wilbanks for quite a while. Second down coming up for the Rebs.
And there you see the difference. Vestavia taking their time, looking to the sidelines after the original play call. We're going to see a shift. Bruce Littleton moves to the right side. I think it's important for Littleton to get a number of touches. He only touched the ball 4 times last week.
Eliminate those turnovers, as you mentioned. And for Charlie Taff on the run right now, keeps this play alive. Pushed out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
Smart decision there by Taff. You don't want to force anything. Cannot, again, when you talk about turnovers, you want to be smart with the football, but you can't be so conservative that you don't take any shots. And that was Coach Evans said. I need Charlie to try and make some plays. You can't be scared to make mistakes. You just have to be smart with the football.
Third down and 4 for the sophomore. That's Mann in motion. And then Charlie calls his own number and moves ahead in what should be a first down. Just a quarterback delay. read the defense, Chad, and then squirted ahead for a first down.
Yeah, that was a called draw there. Good job by Taft of allowing the blockers to pull around, let that play develop, and then follow the big lineman for the first down.
Man in Stubbs near side, but that one goes far side.
With the carry, tackled by number 9, B.J. McGee.
Be a second down for the Rebs. You think about this, Chad, already a week ago, the Rebs were down 7-0. This Taft complete.
And that's a good play there by Taft. He gets the ball in the flat to Littleton. We talked about only 4 touches last week. He needs to get the ball more this week. But I like that play, and that Taft had some options down the field, but he didn't want to force it. He saw the open receiver to Littleton. He took the first down gain, and, well, the second down gain. It down puts it in a third down and short. We'll see what Vestavia does. They leave Taft in the backfield, or they put Littleton. They're going to leave Taft under center.
A bad snap. That's what happened last week, and this time Taft just falls on it. And the first mistake, unfortunately for the Rebs, will cost them possession.
So last year, if Vestavia's in a short yardage situation, John Paul Head, your quarterback's going to get the snap, and 90+% of the time, he's going to run the football. Taft not built the same as Head, so you thought that you might see Bruce Littleton move into that wildcat formation to run the ball sometimes on the short yardage situations. Instead, Taft stays in, but clear miscommunication for the Rebels. Bad snap, they fall on it, and they punt it away.
Vestavia Hills has an outstanding kicker and punter, Owen Simpson. Peyton Plott will let it bounce, and this will take a Rebel bounce inside the 15 to about the 12. Excellent punt by Owen Simpson. Last week, 3 punts, 47.3 yards.
It's an outstanding weapon. Great punt, pushes this Auburn offense back. And just get ready, because this is a very talented Auburn offense. They've got athletes all over the place. In addition to Mabson, who we mentioned in the backfield, watch number 2, Peyton Plott. He's committed to play at Georgia State. But they have athletes all over the field. Joshua Askew, another receiver, a very fast receiving core for Auburn.
And they got a left-handed thrower, a senior, is their quarterback. This is Plott in space to the 30. Over midfield, look at the speed of Plott. He's still going inside the 30 and finally dragged down at the 24-yard line. A short pass, but a tremendous amount of yards after the catch.
Incredible start for Auburn. It was simply a crossing route to Plott. We talked about Vestavia wanting to keep everything in front. So the secondary dropping back, trying to keep everything in front. They threw a very short pass to Plott, but he just took off after that.
First handoff for Mabson. Second down, Grayson Bruno, as we called his name a lot. In fact, he led the Rebels with 11 tackles last week. He was in on the tackle here. Kilgore. Fake the handoff to Mabson. Now Kilgore with plenty of room on the far side and is taken down. A great play fake right there. And he's near the 5, and then a little pushing and shoving and woofing from the senior quarterback.
Kilgore didn't like the hit. It was just hitting right on the sidelines. But goodness, Auburn just off to an outstanding start. We've seen them through the air. We've seen them with the running back, and they're the quarterback keeping the ball and running.
First down and 9. And Mabson inside the 5 to about the 3. So a second down and goal for the Tigers on their first possession.
5 yards. Second down and goal is coming.
5'9", 210 junior, Mabson. Mabson angles towards the end zone, and it looks up he comes up just short, which will set up a third down and goal at about the 1.5, maybe 2. Mabson, he gets hit and keeps the legs moving and then spins in for a touchdown. Vestavia Hills got some bodies on him, but couldn't take down the bowling ball. And Mapson in to give the Tigers a 6-0 lead.
That was a great effort defensively by the Rebels. Did a good job of getting in the backfield, getting to contact, but just great job by Mapson of continuing to move his feet, plow forward, and he gets into the end zone, and the light show goes off here at Duck Sanford Stadium.
Joseph Daniel to attempt the point after. Might be the tallest high school kicker in the state of Alabama. And he sends it through to make it 7-0 Tigers. Chad and I will be back from Auburn after this timeout.
At Birmingham Fastener, every day begins with our core values: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're on the lookout for talented individuals to join our sales and manufacturing teams at one of the nation's leading manufacturers. With over 15 locations nationwide, we offer endless opportunities for growth and success alongside incredible teammates. Be a part of shaping the future of American manufacturing and help us build our nation's infrastructure.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
Seven 0 Auburn. And here comes Vestavia Hills, their second shot on offense. First set of downs wasn't a turnover, but a fumble recovered by the quarterback, and it just slowed down your momentum.
Yeah, it's just a mistake, and that's one thing. The offense started out very nicely. One thing that this coaching staff expects, the Auburn defense, they're solid. They're really good up front on the defensive line, but a lot of receivers will have opportunities to be running free. It's just up to Vestavia to take advantage of those opportunities.
They'll go with 4 down linemen, the Tigers. Man in motion, and Stubbs on the hip. And now looks like a timeout for the Rebels.
And so we saw this Auburn team come out, great start. They put 7 points on the board. And you talk about what they need to do tonight, the way they need to come out to be able to be effective in this football game. They want to run the ball. They want to get Mapson involved. They want him to really control this football game just like he did last week in their Week 1 victory. They want to take shots down the field. Their first big play in the passing game was actually a crossing route. There was a lot of yards after the catch. And then they need to play assignment football on the defensive side of the ball. That's the keys to the game for Auburn here tonight.
1st and 10 for Taff and the Rebels. Handoff on a reverse, and it is out to about the 24-yard line. Carried by Luke Stubbs.
And we've seen Vestavia try several times, some speed sweeps, trying to get to the outside. And that's what's important. Get good positive yardage on first down, and that gives you chances to work in the second and third.
Short pass caught by Mann. Makes a nice move. Comes near side over the 40. Near midfield. Taken down at around the 50. So short pass, turn it into a long gain.
That's what Vestavia believes they have an opportunity to take advantage of. Strong up front on the defensive line for Auburn, not as strong in the secondary. That right there was simply a 5-yard pass. Mann did a good job of breaking to the outside. He got a block, and that got him near midfield.
By the way, that was sophomore to sophomore. A couple of youngsters involved on that. Here comes Taft to pass, gets rid of it down the middle too much. He was looking for Mann. Mann had a step on his man.
Yeah, just missed. That's a touchdown. And that's the type of plays Vestavia has to take advantage of. In the secondary, Auburn plays quarters coverage. That's 4 defensive back. Typically, they're all responsible for 1 quarter of the field. So what do? You send your slot right down the middle of the field. You try to split those 2 safeties. Mann was wide open down the field, and Taft just missed it.
Yeah, the play call was there. The execution was not. But if you're Taft, put that play in your back pocket, and remember, you might want to bring it out a little bit later on. Man in motion, but it's a handoff. No gain. Carson Purdy was busy last week with 10 carries.
Yeah, that was Gregory Williams that time. The weak side linebacker just flew into the backfield to make that tackle.
Empty backfield for the Rebels. We'll see who the hot man is. Rush coming. Taff off the hands of his intended receiver. That was Bruce Littleton. And it will be 4th down. And for the second time, the Rebels will have to punt. Some positive signs, little steps taken along the way. Simpson with another big boot. Here's Plott, wants to take it. Plott banged down at the 25. Someone got a lick on him. First down and 10 for the Tigers. Just under 6 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. And we will take a timeout. Back from Auburn after this.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. God continues to renew that call over and over and over again to the people. Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
.553 remaining here in the opening quarter.
And you said it well for Vestavia. You've seen some positive things offensively, but they've just missed the plays when they had a chance to convert. When they had a chance to hit the big play for the touchdown, they just haven't done it. Now it's up to the defense to come up with a stop after a very easy drive for Auburn on the first series.
Mapson tries to go outside, and he's got more yardage than he should have. Tackle made by Tonsmeyer. Looked like he was stopped early. He falls ahead like all the good running backs do. And that was Spence Hanna, by the way.
And that's a good sign. We talked about Jacob Watson and Spence Hanna being game-time decisions. They are both in the ball game and playing here tonight.
That's Omar Mapson on the move, and then it's a pass caught by one of the wide receivers. That's Antonio Welch Jr. Lots of weapons for Kilgore. When you see Kilgore on tape, he just doesn't make mistakes. Almost a perfect quarterback for this offense.
And that time it was zero coverage, cross Tonsmeyer man-to-man. Ran with him, made the tackle, but not after a big gain.
Calls his own number, does Kilgore. Into Vestavia Hills territory. So he read the defense. He saw there was some room.
Auburn doing a really good job right now spreading their offense out. They've got 4 wides here with 1 running back.
As mentioned earlier, a massive offensive line. Mapson makes the cut. And then Mapson, it's down to the 45-yard line. I mean, they've got a college offensive line in terms of their size, Chad. 270, 300, 330, 285, 250. Carry for Plott, and Plott a first down and more at the 35. Plott his first year with Auburn.
Yeah, just big gain after big gain for Auburn. He transferred in. His dad's actually on the coaching staff, is Plott. He's an assistant coach after he was a head coach for the last 4 years. Moves in, and goodness gracious, it's just been a great, not only for his son and him, but for this team as well.
Kilgore. Complete, and then bang. First, you got the catch by Welch, and then Tosmeyer with that booming shoulder hit.
Big time by Tonsmeyer, getting in there, finishing that drive. Another big gain for Auburn, but at least a little authority for the Rebels.
Well, that's Kilgore on a beautiful play fake. Kilgore is going to walk in for a touchdown. Rebels thought that he had handed it off to Mabson, but Kilgore kept it himself and was down the far sideline.
It's going to come back. It's going to be a penalty against Auburn. You said it. The Rebels sold out on the running back trying to get in to make the tackle. Made a good hit on the running back, but Kilgore kept that ball to the outside, did not get touched until he got to the end zone. But fortunately, it's a holding call against Auburn, and that's going to bring it back. So big break for the Rebels.
You take 6 off the scoreboard, and now Auburn will operate at the Rebels 32. They got a long field still to go. That's Plott. Instead, it's a handoff for Mabson. This time, VH does a nice job. Jacob Watson, you mentioned his name. He is the Mike linebacker. He's good in one-on-one situations.
Yeah, Watson's the best defensive player on this football team. Just an outstanding leader. Does such a good job of understanding the plays being run, understanding where he needs to be, recognizing and hitting the gap to make that tackle.
Kilgore with an empty backfield. Here comes some pressure. Escapes. Flings it towards his intended receiver. And oh, what a catch that was. With a man draped all over him. Caught by Mark Bazell.
Bazell's a guy we talked about in the pregame. You saw him making all kinds of catches, one-handed catches, and it didn't take long to this first quarter to get him the ball.
So back on the move, Kilgore, near side, caught. And making a move, that's Askew. Got a couple of extra yards after his juke.
Catch by number 7, Josh Askew.
And just for Auburn, it's so many different receivers, so many different ball handlers, and they're just spreading the ball left, right, all over the place.
With this one-on-one coverage for Plott, it will be a running play. Mabson, and he avoids tacklers to the corner, and a touchdown. Second touchdown for the Tigers. Omar Mabson. He had 4 last week. Helmet comes off. Well, even with the penalty, Auburn was backed up and they were able to just march straight ahead. Joseph Daniel will try to make this a 14-0 game. And he does. 14-0, Auburn over Vestavia Hills. Back from Auburn, Alabama after this. Nothing over the Rebels as second straight week, a stout top 5 opponent scoring early on the Rebs. Rebs has got to, what they've got to do is try to start eating the clock. That's man. One to beat. He's got him to the 40, the 30, the 20. Touchdown, Rebels! Carson Mann, only a sophomore, in for 6.
And talk about a big play when you need it. You just felt like Auburn had all the momentum. They have dominated the first 10 minutes of this ballgame, and just like that, in the third phase in the special teams, Vestavia with a big-time return to get points on the board and cut this lead in half.
Carson Mann been busy early in this game with a long touchdown return of a kick. Simpson will try to make it 7-0. Or rather 14-7. Simpson is money. So if you're a Rebels fan, you feel a little bit better. Tigers 14, Rebels 7 will be back from Duck Sanford Stadium in just a moment. And with an electric run back, a touchdown. 14-7 Auburn.
Kicking off for the Rebels, number 13, Owen Simpson.
Owen Simpson will be kicking. Number 2 is Plott. It'll be Plott. Look at that short hop. Great hands. Get near the 30. Now he makes his move to the outside. Now he is all the way down inside the Vestavia 25. A long return by Peyton Plott. Just way too much speed.
Just one team throws a punch, the other one throws one back. That's really the one thing you just couldn't afford for Vestavia. You make such a huge play on the kick return in the special teams to get points on the board, and then you just give a huge kick return right back to Auburn. And so just like that, Auburn's knocking on the door. And now it's going to go half the distance. They're going to call late hit out of bounds against the Rebels. That's tough when you're flying after the ball on the sideline. You're just trying to get there, and it was a good call by the officials. There was contact out of bounds against Vestavia, but just a tough break for the Rebels.
It'll set up a 1st down and 5. And the Rebels on defense try to make some sort of a stop against Jackson Kilgore and Omar Mabson. At the 15, Kilgore caught and then immediately wrapped up. Cash Reef with his first reception.
That was good recognition by Leighton Downey. Immediately saw that quick hitch route. He jumped it and made the tackle as soon as the catch was made.
Mabson straight ahead. Look at the legs still churning. There's a pile of Rebels there defensively, but Omar Mabson gets some tough yardage.
Nice job by Grayson Bruno to get into the backfield to make first contact, but you said it. Mabson just keeps moving and keeps falling forward. That was a really good run on what should have been a gain of nothing.
Antonio Welch trying to fake everybody out on the move. He's trying to tell everybody, hey, I'm getting a jet sweep. Instead, he lines up as a wide receiver. Kilgore, low snap, handoff, Mabson. Mabson stops, cuts. There's a flag down as he gets to the 5.
And that's going to be a hold against Auburn. Great job that time by Paxton Usry to get into the backfield. He got his shoulder ripped, turned, and flipped around. And so that's going to be the call against Auburn. They have got some big offensive linemen. You talked about it before. That time it was Trenton Pritchett who had Usry racked up.
I would not want to be a buffet establishment on a game day trying to feed this Auburn offensive line. If we get a shot a little bit, again, their center is massive, 6'3", 330, Hugh Botiford. They get a wall on the right side, a wall on the left side. Ball's on the floor. Kilgore trying to make something out of nothing, and the pass was deflected.
Kilgore's pass is incomplete.
Yates Bannon, one of the Rover linebackers, got his hands on it. So,
yeah, Bannon's a guy that's really stepped up for the Rebels, not only last year as he made some big time plays, and he's stepped into a big role this year. That was a great job. After the ball was on the ground, Kilgore picked it up, tried to throw it down the field, and Bannon knocked it down, and that's going to put Auburn in a field goal attempt situation.
yeah, Big Joseph Daniel, try from 25, add 10. This will be a 35-yard attempt. Time is called probably by the guys in blue.
They're going to go delay a game against Auburn. It's kind of a
even better for the Reds.
Unforced error there for Auburn. Back it up. That's going to make it a 40-yard field goal attempt.
Ball spotted right at the 30. A 40-yard attempt now for the junior, Joseph Daniel. The kick. He's got the distance and the accuracy as well. 40-yarder by Daniel. 17-7. Auburn out in front of Vestavia Hills. We'll be back from Duck Sanford Stadium with more football in just a moment.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Alabama. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the AHSAA.
15-7 Auburn over Vestavia. First quarter action. And you got about 36 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Well, Carson Mann ran back the last kickoff. And this one will be a touchback. Well, Chad, 36 seconds. You would think some sort of a safe running play and then flip the field.
Yeah, this is, we've talked about, we don't have our stats here tonight. Vestavia is somewhere around 50, 60 yards of offense so far tonight. Auburn pushing 200, pretty close to it so far in this first quarter. But for Vestavia, we've seen flashes, we've seen good plays. We just haven't been able to string them together.
Oh, play action, and Taft running for his life, throws it incomplete. Second down. Some pressure being put on, and Charlie lucky to get the ball off before he gets sacked.
That was really a heck of a play by Taft just to get rid of that football. Cameron Creighton did not bite on that play fake at all and was chasing Taft the entire way. He did a good job of getting his body square, putting some oomph on the football. It just landed short and incomplete.
Carson Purdy in at running back. This is Purdy over the right side to the 24-yard line, a gain of 4.
Carson Purdy with the carry.
And it will be 3rd and 6.
J.D. Livingston, the offensive lineman, leading the way there. puts Vestavia in a very manageable third down situation. We'll see if they get this play off. The clock's rolling down 6-5-4, and the Rebels are going to let the first quarter come to an end.
So the opening quarter down on the Plains. Auburn 17. Vestavia Hills 7. Second quarter coming up after this timeout.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Alabama. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the AHSAA.
(17-7). Auburn out in front of Vestavia Hills. Chad Pilcher, my broadcast partner, said we don't have stats. You also neglected to mention that unless I'm a giraffe, I cannot see the scoreboard. It is impossible. Not nearly, but it is impossible. So you got to stick your head out the window, use the binocs. That being said, I can tell you that the Rebels are on offense, and it's a third down play. Let's see if Taft can keep the Rebels moving. He's got man near side if he wants him. Over the middle, tapped and then in and out of the hands of Luke Stubbs. It was pressure there on Stubbs, and it will be a fourth down, and the Rebs will have to punt.
Yeah, pressure on Taft that time. He threw the ball a little too hard, but even if it had been caught, it was not going to be a first down. That route was short of the sticks. He didn't have time to look to his routes down the field. And again, just continued pressure into the backfield, forcing Taft to get rid of the football before he wants to do so, and just hasn't had time to sit there in the pocket and deliver the football.
All right, this is dangerous because you got Plott, and we know what he can do. And Plott lets it bounce, and it will go inside the 25, right near the 20. Maybe the 20 and a half.
That was a nice job there by Owen Simpson. He does such a great job both kicking and punting, and that time Auburn did not bring any pressure. So what did Simpson do? He recognized it. So he took an extra 2 or 3 steps. That allowed the Vestavia coverage team to get down the field. So by the time that the ball hit the ground, they were all around Plott. No chance for him to return that punt.
Rebs need to stop defensively. Love to get a turnover. But just a 3 and out would be nice for the Rebs against this dangerous 4th-ranked Auburn Tigers football team. And here comes Kilgore. Kilgore going deep, going long, wants Plott, too far. Incomplete. Great coverage by the Rebs.
Excellent job in coverage. Leighton Downey running step for step with Plott. Spinzana, the safety, was there over the top. Kilgore trying to take a shot. It was a one-man route. They were going to go try to make something happen, but read and defended perfectly by the Rebels.
Plott, by the way, 5'8", only 155, but lightning speed, a tremendous athlete. We see a flag. He, last year, was at a 5A school called Carroll High in Ozark, Alabama, and then Chad mentioned his father got a job here as one of the assistants, and Peyton followed his dad. And the senior is headed to college football after his high school career is done. Then I saw him watching some stuff. He runs track, and he's an outstanding basketball player. Handoff far side. Not a whole lot there.
Kilgore with the carry.
It's Kilgore by himself. When I said handoff, Kilgore by himself.
Yeah, they faked the jet sweep that time, and then Kilgore kept it. And so now, for the first time, seems like all night, Auburn's in a third and long situation. It's 3rd and 11. A real opportunity here for this Vestavia defense.
And here comes some pressure, and Kilgore just lobs it towards Mabson. Now coming around with that pressure was Spence Hanna, and Hanna was just an eyelash short of a sack, but that is one of the first 3 and outs, if not the first 3 and out.
Vestavia brings the safety. Hanna on the blitz from the outside, had the pressure. Auburn had a pretty decent call, had a screen play on. They were trying to run the screen pass to Mabson, but Rush Harper read that perfectly, was right there as the ball got to Mabson. He knocked it down and incomplete, and Auburn will punt it away.
Caught, fair catch. 47-yard line.
And there's something you don't see every day in 7A football. That's your starting quarterback, Charlie Taft, back catching punts. It's something he did last year as a freshman for Vestavia, and they've tried a couple of different guys there, but the bottom line is that's a hard thing to do. And you either know how to catch punts or you don't. They feel most comfortable with Taft catching the ball. I don't think you're going to see a ton of returns, probably a number of fair catches, but they feel very confident with his ability to catch the ball. Let's see if he can now put a drive together.
See what the Rebels can do, as Chad just said. It's a handoff. Purdy. I saw a face mask. Did the officials see a face mask? And the answer is yes.
So good start to that drive for Vestavia. Short gain, but you're going to add 15 yards onto it.
Now, Chad, I don't want to break my elbow patting myself on the back. I would need some medical attention. But if I could see a face mask, then it's an obvious face mask.
And it's of the personal foul variety. So a nice start to this drive for Vestavia. Conservative run. Infraction by the Tigers, and that puts Vestavia inside the 40-yard line.
Even with a loss last week to Carver Montgomery did not play a spotless game. They made a lot of mistakes. And some of that is because of the way the Rebels run both their offense and defense. Taft. And going back to Taft. And Charlie gets taken down at the 32. Some trickery.
Yeah, it was actually a nice call. Gave it to Littleton, who then threw back to the quarterback, but that was read very well by Gregory Williams, the linebacker. He did not bite on the fake. He immediately stayed with Taft, so Taft really did a good job of catching that ball, using his athleticism to get a few yards.
Got 3. Second down, 7. Purdy trying to get to the outside. He's inside the 30 before being taken down.
That is really nice patience that time by Purdy, letting the blocks come, letting defenders run past him before charging forward. It's now 3rd and 2.
Handoff. And it's Purdy. Chad, I'm not going to make the call. I'm trying to get out of the guessing game. Is he short? Does he have enough?
No, he's short. He did a great job of being patient the play before. That time he should have hit it a little harder. He took a little bit too long before he got north and south. Good job by Auburn of stringing that play out. It's going to be a 4th and I think it's still a 4th and 2. The Rebels are going to go for it.
I formation. Purdy. Charlie's going to throw. First down. Caught. Nice play call. Bruce Littleton, big body guy, gets the first down. Beautiful 4th down play call.
Show dive up the middle, play fake, immediately get the ball out to Littleton, who was open. Good conversion for Vestavia. First down inside the 25-yard line.
Josh Franklin, the OC for Robert Evans. Purdy to the right side, got a little bit of room, gets over the 20 and then taken down. B.J. McGee, cornerback.
Good to see the way this Vestavia offensive line is getting a nice push. That time Purdy, he was 3 to 4 yards down the field before he had any contact. So it's taken a little bit, but this offensive line starting to lean on this Auburn defensive line a little bit.
2nd and 5. Purdy will get inside the 20 and then wrapped up. Kyle King senior.
And right as we say that, then a defensive lineman comes backside and makes a tackle. So that was a really good individual effort by King to shoot through the gap and make that tackle because it looked like there was some room on the outside. J.D. Livingston had pulled around and had a chance. A nice job of shutting that down by King. Now it's 3rd down and 5 for the Rebels.
Empty backfield for Taft. Oh, Vestavia Hills over the middle and then off the hands and then intercepted. And then down inside the 8. Isaac Benford with the interception. Boy, they had the right play call again.
Perfect play call that time. That ball was just thrown too hard. It was a little slant right over the middle. The ball was in the right spot. Just threw a little bit too hard. Bounced off the chest. Pops up. And Benford, who had a scoop and score for a touchdown last week, comes up with a big interception here this week.
So one thing that Taft and the Rebels could not afford to do as they were driving for points, and unfortunately, like last week, a turnover. Mabson bowls his way for just a couple.
We'll see how this drive goes, but this Coach Evans, Coach Merrill, this defensive coaching staff seems to have adjusted after kind of taking a punch in the mouth to start the game with some big plays for Auburn. They seem to have adjusted and gotten in a good rhythm defensively.
Kilgore. That one was almost deflected. Nice open field tackles after the catch by Askew.
And that's an example of being in a good rhythm. That's very similar to the first play of the football game where you just had a short little pass over the middle that went for about 60. That time, good job of breaking down, not going for the fake, and then making the tackle.
This is a 3rd and 7 for Auburn. Kilgore, far side of the field, and he got his man as the defender fell down. And a big first down as Plott made his man fall down with his moves and then gets up and gives the Tigers a first down.
These receivers are just so good. Even when you're in good coverage, they're going to do a good job of coming out of their breaks, coming back to the football, and just using their athleticism. And that's what happened there.
Kilgore called his own number 11 and gets tripped up. That's Layton Osborne. Sorry, Chet.
No, short gain there. Josh Arundel did a good job of getting into the backfield. Got wrapped up. Looked like it could have been a holding call, but no flags come out. It's still a short gain for Auburn on first down.
Mabson voids 1. Runs into 3 Rebel tacklers.
Omar Mabson carries to the 40-yard line.
Great effort that time by Logan Richter coming from the backside to run that play down.
3rd down and 3 upcoming for the Tigers.
Second 3rd down on this possession. Big conversion last time by Kilgore. Kilgore looking at the sidelines.
Looks like they are very confused from a formation
standpoint.
standpoint.
Here comes a timeout. Good call. If they take a timeout, I think we need to do the same thing, don't you? 17-7. Tigers lead the Rebs. We'll be back after this.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Second quarter, Chad, I believe you have a halftime guest.
Yeah, we'll have Vestavia Hills City School Superintendent Dr. Todd Freeman, who actually began his career in the Auburn City School system.
How about that?
So it's a neat night for him, and so we'll talk to him at halftime.
Excuse me while I pick up my resume that dropped on the floor here in the booth. Kilgore on a 3rd down. The southpaw under some pressure, dumps it to an open man, Askew, and Askew will move the chains. That's too bad because the Rebs had good pressure and a good read by Kilgore. I told you, Chad, watching him on film, he doesn't panic.
He really did a good job that time letting that play develop, and that was 5, 6, 7 seconds. Good coverage in the secondary for Vestavia, but you just can't ask them to wait that long. They're going to take the heat timeout with 5 minutes, 42 seconds. We'll take that one with them as well. We'll be right back.
Tigers lead the Rebs 17-7 and 2 third down conversions. And you can hear the public address in the background at the 40, 1st and 10. Mapson on the move. And instead Plott trying to get him in space. Oh, he did break loose, did Plott. He was being tackled from the waist, and he spins out of control and then gets another 10 yards.
Just unbelievable. Vestavia's best tackler, Jacob Watson, had him at the 35, wrapped up around his waist. He somehow got out and picked up another 11 yards.
Kilgore near side. I'm looking for the official. Hard to see. We're completely blinded by a tent.
It's going to be incomplete. And
Thank
that's
you.
a good job by Cross Tonsmeyer of coming over and making the hit at the last minute. But, man, you can't say enough about Kilgore. I mean, that time, there were 3 Vestavia defenders around that ball. He dropped it in there perfectly. Fortunately for the Rebels, Tonsmeyer made the hit right as the receiver was coming to the ground to knock it loose.
2nd and 10. Kilgore. He's got his receiver. It's Cash Reef, his second catch.
So here's another third down. And again, I said we don't have our stats tonight. I wish we did. You feel like Auburn has been able to come up with those plays on third down. The Rebels just looking for that opportunity to get a big stop that potentially could flip that momentum a little bit. Auburn clearly within field goal range, and Vestavia trying to force them to take a field goal attempt.
Jet sweep, Plott. Plott inside the 20, inside the 10. That's not Plott. That is in the end zone. Antonio Welch. Did you see a flag, Chad?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That one's going to come back. Yates Bandon was there in position to make a tackle, but just got absolutely spun around. Easy holding call for the line judge. Little surprised the referee didn't see it. It happened right in front of him, but the line judge clearly saw it and was able to make that call. And when we tell you we can't see, we are cut off from about the 15 in on this side. It is tough to pick up. And then we do, there's tents on the sideline. It's a thin sideline. That's one thing. This is an older stadium. Again, we said they've done some renovations, but because it's older, everything's a lot closer as far as the sideline goes.
I can't wait to get home.
And one thing, again, if you're watching this later, there was an internet outage here at the stadium earlier today. The Wi-Fi is blocked. We're having trouble there, so we apologize.
Going for the home run. It is touchdown Auburn. A conversion back to Welch.
Not sure what else you do. You had good coverage underneath from the cornerback. Safety rolling over the top. Got there as the ball arrived for contact, but just a great job again by this outstanding Auburn receiving corps holding on to the football, making the catch, and putting 6 more points on the board.
What touch by Kilgore. Here's Daniel. And it is now 24-7, a late score by Auburn. Chad and I will be back from the Plains after this.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
Kicking off for the Tigers, number 39 is Joseph Daniels.
New score, 24-7. As Auburn has been able to convert on both third and fourth down. When you look at the scoreboard, so got a half to go and about 4 minutes plus here. But for the psyche of the Rebels, you'd like to see them march down the field and get some points after giving up that touchdown there with great coverage and just even a better pass and catch.
You really said it well. You have to tip your cap sometimes to the other team. You had coverage. You had guys in the area. Maybe a split second too late, but Kilgore could not have thrown that ball any better. I mean, he just dropped it in there perfectly. Right past the cornerback, right before the safety was able to get over. And just an outstanding Auburn offense. And now for Vestavia's offense, you got to make plays. You've got to get something going. You can't ask the defense to come up with stop after stop after stop. And they've just had such a tough time with this Auburn offense, but now it's time Vestavia's offense's turn.
Carson Purdy, the fake to him. Instead, it's Taft with wide open running room, and Taft to the 45 after a beautiful play fake.
Nice job there by Taft to read the. And again, we've heard about his athleticism. We've heard about him in open space. He's not the same as John Paul Head, the kind of bruiser type runner, but he's got really high level speed when he gets in the open field.
Charlie, an excellent baseball player. He will go across the field. He had his man and missed.
And that's the second time tonight where Vestavia's had a receiver running down the field and just hasn't been able to connect. Good play call again by offensive coordinator Josh Franklin. Showed run, quarterback run to the right side. Good job by Taft of carrying that play out, but just looked like he didn't quite set his feet as he went to throw that ball.
That's the second play call that could have been a touchdown. Taft got hit as he throws. Man comes back to receive, and that will be a complete.
We'll see where they spot that one. Looks like they spotted about a yard short. Vestavia's in 4-down territory here, but that'll be a 3rd and 1.
3.5 remaining. Somebody moved it. If it's on Vestavia Hills, Pearson Tucker, the right tackle, I saw him in my binoculars.
And again, just uncharacteristic mistakes, things that we've seen in the early part of this season. You've got a 3rd and 1. You've got a real opportunity to convert and pick up that first down. Instead, muff the snap there. It's going to back him up and force him into a 3rd and 6.
The ball will be placed at the 48-yard line of the Rebels.
And as you're looking, 3 minutes, 15 seconds left, but down 17. I think Coach Evans tends to go for it on 4th down anyway. Absent some negative play, you're likely have 2 downs to pick up this first down.
Here comes pressure. Good blocking by the Rebs line, and then the completion to Littleton. First down. Bruce Littleton. 2 catches last week, makes his 2nd catch tonight.
That was a really good job that time by Taft. Again, it's pressure almost every time in this backfield, but did a good job of getting his shoulder square and delivering a strike.
Handoff. Carson Purdy, a good 1st down run. 2nd down.
Now this offense in rhythm. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left in the half. Moving quickly. They're now picking up the pace. The pace was slower early in the game, and that was intentional by this Rebels offense, but now the speed is picked up.
2nd and 5. Taff, little too long. No, it's caught! And a touchdown! What a play call that was. Carson Purdy out of the backfield for 6.
Purdy sets up at the running back spot, releases out down the hash. Looked like that ball might be thrown a little too far, but he did a great job of reaching out, making the catch, and a huge touchdown for the Rebels.
As you're watching that develop, you're saying, oh, you missed him. And the gap closed. Speaking of closing the gap, here's Simpson to make this a 10-point deficit. We'll take a break. 24-14, the Tigers lead the Rebs when we come back.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
There's your score, 24-14, a 10-point deficit for Vestavia.
And talk about needing a score. Vestavia needed a score, and that's big time to be able to come up with it. And look, they did it very quickly. They did it very efficiently. They put plays together back to back to back, and that's what you've been waiting to see from this offense, and that looked really good on that last drive.
Chad, the Rebs also need a 3 and out. Remember last week against Carver, they scored early, then they scored on the last possession going into the half. So the Rebels have scored twice. Plot's going to let it go. And 1st and 10 at the 20. Now, I got a feeling that Kilgore and company, they're going to come out firing. There's no way that Keith Etheridge is going to sit on a 10-point lead.
No, they're going to be aggressive, and it does not take them long to get up and down the field. They're certainly going to take shots, and so it's really important for Vestavia understanding that you play just as aggressive defensively because they've got plenty of time. They also have 1 timeout left, so they 2 timeouts left, so they got plenty of time to go up and down the field.
Plot is near side, by the way. Now cuts over the middle. Kilgore looking for him. He is covered. Look at the time Kilgore has. Flag is down. Kilgore just throws it away. Holding, Chad, is my guess, with a question mark?
Yeah, it's going to be holding. Rush Harper, look, that was a long time for the secondary to have to defend. That's a long time for those offensive linemen to have to block. But Rush Harper just got picked up and bent down, and that's where the flag came out.
And they'll push the Tigers further back towards their goal line. And we were right, Chad. They were going to try to move the ball downfield. Still over 2 minutes left to go, and a 10-point lead. We started seeing it late in the third and early in the fourth last week, what Robert Evans had talked about. And last week was Carver. You saw all the cramps and all the guys pulling up late. And I'm very anticipatory about if that's going to happen again. I would think so. I mean, it was 97, 98 degrees at kick. And the Vestavia Hills is used to that kind of pace. Kilgore kept it. Plot over the 20. What a fake that was. Kilgore dumps it off to Plot. So they get back to almost the original line of scrimmage.
A little option game. Had the play or the run action to Mabson, and then went out, and the receiver Plot dropped back as the tailback and pitched it to him on the option pitch. Good gain there.
2nd and 11. Kilgore's got a man in the flats. Kilgore's going long, high pass. And it is incomplete, and here comes a flag. Contact was made. Looking for Plot. And the only plot as it thickens is a probable pass interference.
Yeah, good call by the officials. When you have receivers like Auburn does, you can take those shots, and that's not a bad penalty. You'd much rather have a 15-yard penalty than a touchdown. And so 2 Vestavia defenders in the area. Plott was able to get behind them.
Where are we going with this ball here, Chad?
15 yards from
okay,
the spot.
15. I'm sorry. I'm looking for.
Yeah, look, in the NFL,
it's where he
it's
caught
right
it.
where the
yeah.
spot was. In high school football, the max number of yards you can get is 15.
Okay.
So that's a 15-yard penalty. You'll take that trade
Okay, now I'll
all
take
day
it. Yeah,
long.
absolutely. Kilgore to the air, the southpaw. Near side, good coverage, incomplete. A couple of guys crossing over.
Yeah, that was Spence Hanna in coverage that time as Auburn was trying to get the ball to Cash Reef. And what Auburn does a really good job of, and we saw this in film prior to the game, is they run a lot of crossing routes, deep crossing routes. And because this offensive line is so good, Kilgore has all day to sit in the backfield and let those plays develop. And then he puts the ball in really good spots. That time just a little too far and incomplete.
2nd down and 10. Kilgore, long pass off the hands of his intended receiver. Boy, Plott is just being used all over this field.
For number 7, Josh Askew.
That was Askew, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, that time they were trying to go to Askew, but again, it doesn't matter. They're all so good. They can go up and make plays. Now it's 3rd and 10. Big play here. With 1:42, obviously an incomplete pass, the clock stops. But if Vestavia gets a stop on a run play, they will likely use a timeout to give the offense a chance to get the ball back.
Empty backfield. Rolling, pressure, caught. That'll be short of a 1st down. And that again is Askew.
But really good coverage there, Daniel Richardson, Leighton Downey. You can allow him to make the catch. You have to make that tackle afterwards. Did a good job of keeping it in front. Auburn is keeping the offense on the field. I cannot imagine that they're going to go for this.
1:34 remaining. And I've got it 4th and 6 and a little pooch punt coming up. Inside the 30 and at the 29. So you have some time. Fairly good positioning for the Rebels.
And we'll see what kind of confidence this coaching staff has in their sophomore quarterback. How aggressive do you want to be? 2 timeouts left for Vestavia. There's enough time to go up and down the field. You just had your best offensive drive of the football game. See what decision they make.
Purdy, the running back. Purdy gets it and heads up to the 35, rather. A 5-yard gain. Conservative
play call on 1st down. Taking a little time. You don't want to give Auburn the football back. That's the worst case scenario here. Now 1:08, running towards 1 minute left in this half. Play clock's at 22. It looks like Vestavia's going to let that clock run. And you understand, you finally clawed your way back in this ball game. You don't want to make a mistake right before the half.
Taff under some duress and incomplete. Dangerous call there as Charlie was on the run. And then made a wise decision, making sure nobody could catch it, which sets up a 3rd down.
Now, had they completed that, you might say, well, why'd you use so much time? You don't have as much time. But because they didn't, they let about 20 seconds run off the clock, 25 seconds run off the clock.
3rd and 4, and Taft tackled.
Now Auburn's going to use a timeout, and they're going to stop the clock with 33 seconds left. It's a little chess match going back and forth between these head coaches of how aggressive are you? How much time do you let go? And now Vestavia will line up to punt the ball away. And Owen Simpson's done a really good job. We talked about it a little earlier of realizing if Auburn doesn't bring pressure, I'm going to let that clock run. I'm going to take my time, let my team get down the field. And even more so in a situation like this is maybe you get that ball to hit the ground, maybe it rolls. And if you're on the punt coverage team, if that ball hits the ground and rolls, you do not pick it up. You let it run, as much clock run as possible until the official blows the whistle.
Simpson last year, All-State honorable mention. He is a weapon. Averaged nearly 48 yards a punt last week. Again, we don't have stats, but he's been booming it tonight. trying to create a long field for Auburn. Chad, you know, I need to be Inspector Gadget to be able to see that scoreboard where I could just crank my neck out 15 feet and then bear to the left. Looks like 33 seconds left to go at the punt.
And if you look to the right, Plott is standing just inside his own 30-yard line awaiting this punt. Oh.
A bomb. Now look at that thing take off. And that could be down inside the 5, and it will be. It's inside the 10. Oh, my goodness. Owen Simpson.
That's an incredible punt by Simpson. We've got something going on back where the ball was kicked. Everything is okay. That's a huge weapon. And now for Auburn, unless you just take a shot, you're probably just going to run out the clock and go to halftime. And a great job by Owen Simpson of not giving Auburn a chance to return. We talked about Plott standing about the 28, 29-yard line. That ball hit inside the 15. So it went 10 to 15 yards over his head. Just an awesome punt by Simpson.
22 seconds remaining. Kilgore at the 1, handoff Mabson. And Vestavia Hills with 4 tacklers.
Omar Mabson carries up the middle to the 15-yard line, tackled by a host of rebels.
Did you hear that? A host of rebels. I like that. Paxton Ussery was one of them. PA guy with a little sense of humor. All in all, you're in this game if you are the Rebs. At half, Auburn 24, Vestavia Hills 14. We'll be back. Chad's got a halftime interview when we return.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Alabama. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the AHSAA.
At Birmingham Fastener, every day begins with our core values: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're on the lookout for talented individuals to join our sales and manufacturing teams at one of the nation's leading manufacturers. With over 15 locations nationwide, we offer endless opportunities for growth and success alongside incredible teammates. Be a part of shaping the future of American manufacturing and help us build our nation's infrastructure.
Welcome back to Auburn High School, Duck Sanford Stadium. We're at the half. Auburn leads Vestavia 24-14. At this time, we're going to ask you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the Vestavia Hills High School Marching Band.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Vestavia Hills City Schools Superintendent Dr. Todd Freeman and Principal Dr. Blair Navidat, we are proud to present for your halftime entertainment the Vestavia Hills High School Rebel Marching Band. The band is directed by Mr. Terrell Horton and Associate Director is Ms. Heather Palmer. The band is under the field direction of drum majors Kate Sparks, Ella Ayers, and Nico Marino. Field captains are Margot Lay and Autumn Berry. Major captain is Neely Griffith. Color guard captains are Aaron Colchi, Paisley Brennan, and Madeline Wigley. Rocket co-captain is Mary Kenyon Null. And Rocket captain is Caitlin Winterman. Tonight we present our 2024 show entitled Blame It on the Boogie. Featuring music with a taste of honey and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vestavia Hills High School Rebel Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vestavia Hills High School Rebel Marching Band.
That's the Vestavia High School Marching Band. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Doug Sanford Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. We're at the half. Auburn leads Vestavia 24-14. Right now, we're very pleased to be joined by the superintendent of Vestavia Hills City Schools, Dr. Todd Freeman. Dr. Freeman, thank you for joining us. And for you, this game is a little bit of a homecoming. You began your career here. You taught, you coached, you were a principal, you were an administrator. Talk about being back here in Auburn.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I've enjoyed getting to see a lot of old friends and reminiscing, and there are a lot of great memories on this field, some not so good. One of them, I was laughing with Coach Anderson last night. The last time we were here at Vestavia was 1998, and he was coaching, of course. Robert was on the team. I was a defensive coach on the other side, and we got beat bad. That was a state champion team.
Right.
And a fantastic, so it was a fun moment. But it's been fun to watch the movement for Auburn over the last couple of decades and how they've emerged and really doing well. So I've enjoyed seeing that.
When you see the community support, the fan support they have, kind of the high school and the things that they've built, it's a similar community to Vestavia, yes. Just the way, a lot of similarities in the two places.
Yeah, you're right, Chad. The community support in both places are almost identical. It's amazing. And that was one of the things that appealed to me about having a home in Vestavia was I knew what that felt like, having been in Auburn. And it's very similar. The community pours itself into all facets of what's going on out here on the field tonight.
Yeah, and what I like about being a resident of Vestavia and having my kids in Vestavia schools is there's so many different opportunities. Again, we saw the band perform. We're seeing these kids. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of kids involved on a Friday night, and you get to see that every day, not just the high school, but throughout all the school system.
Yeah, it is the joy to me of a Friday night is watching all the things, the cheerleaders, the band program, and all the different auxiliaries that are a part of that, the football team. And then you've got this staff of kids that are running this program that you're broadcasting. I mean, all of those things behind the scenes, it is amazing how much effort is poured into this by our students. So I love watching that. And, you know, our crowd just is a reflection of all of those different kind of ways that our students are represented tonight.
No, it's really cool. I had a chance to hear you speak at the Vestavia Hills Chamber of Commerce a few weeks back, and you talked about all the things going on in the school system. I think if you're the average, even the average parent who has kids in school may not really appreciate how well we're doing. One thing you talked about is we are firmly, no questions, any element, any measure, we're the number 2 school system in the state, and you're working really hard to make it number 1. Just talk about some of the things that we have going on.
Yeah, well, I tell you, where we think investment's important is having excellent teachers and then having really premier academic programming for our students. And that, to me, has been the legacy of 53 years in Vestavia. And so we just want to keep building on that. And that, you know, when you put that together with a great parent base and community, you get the results we've had for many years. And so, yeah, I mean, I think our senior class last year had over $45 million in scholarship offerings. Incredible, and a record for the school. Solidly number 2 on test scores in the state, but I'd argue we're at the top. We're going to get there, just the competitive side of me. But it's not all about those things just themselves. It's all of the different valued experiences our kids get that make them ready when they leave us.
And something new at the high school this year, Dr. Roselle, or Miss Roselle retired last year. Dr. Abnett, the new principal. Talk about her and kind of the job. We'll hear from her in a couple of weeks, but I think a lot of people are excited about her in that position.
Yeah, Blair's done a great job. She has emerged over the last few years. She was at Liberty Park Elementary, then the middle school and high school, and thought that would be an opportunity for her at some point. And Miss Roselle did retire, and Blair's just kind of gone in and kept on going. And the way I see our system and all of our schools is that we want to keep the upward trajectory. Like, we don't have to make major changes and shifts. We just want to keep the momentum moving forward and upward. And she's done that. She brings such energy and enthusiasm. You know, she's got kids involved in sports, and she understands all of the different facets of a high school, which is a major business operation. So I see her at ball games. I see her at band events, cheerleading events, and so she gets the whole picture, and I'm really excited to have her.
Well, I know a lot of people are as well. It's the start of school. We're in week 3 of school. I've got a 4th grader, a 6th grader. I know it's amazing just how much is going on. But for you, talk about the beginning of school and what all's going on, and you kind of what you're looking forward to and what everybody else should look forward to.
August is like the 400-meter. I mean, you're moving really fast, and then you get a break at Labor Day, which is nice now because everybody's just tired. There's so much happening at one time. But schools have started out really well. We've got 9 campuses, just short of 7,000 kids. our teachers, I go into buildings, and it's like things have been going on for several weeks. But it's fast-paced. I mean, you move right into the academic rigor, and then, tonight we've got hundreds of kids, as you said, involved in this. They've been doing it since the summer. So it's rapid things that are happening right off the bat, but it's a joy to watch it happen. But it is a race, man.
And it cranks up in August. But look, you've been working all summer.
Yeah.
You've been working for so many years.
Yeah.
And just I want to say on behalf of the community, we appreciate the outstanding work that you're doing. And you can see this school system continue to improve every single year. And that's a testament to you, your team, and the work that's being done.
I appreciate that. But listen, you know this from being married to one that grew up here. And this is a special place. Vestavia Hills is. I love it. It's our home. Our boys are here as well. We've got kids, that are about your age, and it's hard to put a value on the experience our kids get, and it's just part of what's been here a long time. So I'm really just privileged to get to be a part of what's happening.
Well, we appreciate all that you're doing. We appreciate you
Thanks,
joining
Chad.
us here tonight.
Thank
That's
you.
the superintendent of Vestavia Hills City Schools, Dr. Todd Freeman. We'll be right back after this.
I'm all about it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Yeah, 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 yeah,
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. Use your tax money for something that will make a huge impact at no cost to you. For more information, go to
necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. God continues to renew that call over and over and over again to the people. Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. Use your tax money for something that will make a huge impact at no cost to you. For more information, go to choosera.org.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Alabama. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the AHSAA.
At Birmingham Fastener, every day begins with our core values: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're on the lookout for talented individuals to join our sales and manufacturing teams at one of the nation's leading manufacturers. With over 15 locations nationwide, we offer endless opportunities for growth and success alongside incredible teammates. Be a part of shaping the future of American manufacturing and help us build our nation's infrastructure.
And we have you live from Duck Sanford Stadium at halftime. Your score, Auburn 24, Vestavia Hills almost said it, 14, 24-14. Auburn out in front of the Rebels like last week at the Crampton Bowl. Opposition took advantage of an early mistake and was able to score. But tonight, Vestavia Hills weathering the storm for the most part. Late score on a beautiful pitch and catch. And the Rebels cut the lead down to 10 against a very explosive and highly ranked Auburn Tigers. John Versiglio made a good point. Yeah, we don't have stats, but we get the stats in our head, and that's where it counts the most. And there's a lot of positives you can take out of that first half. Couple negatives, the turnovers at the wrong point, that third down interception down near the goal line, but you're only down by 2 scores.
I think you could look at the negatives and make them into a positive, because if you look, I'd love to see the stats compared first quarter to second quarter, because Auburn dominated that first quarter. It wasn't even close. But Vestavia really kind of clawed back, played much better in the second half. But you really point to the interception that bounced off the chest, and then you had 2 potential touchdowns where you had receivers running open and you just missed them. But if you spin that to the positive side, if you just hit one of them, it's just a 3-point game. If you don't have the interception, that's the field goal. That's what ties it up. You have a chance to be right there in this ball game, despite the fact that you got dominated in the first quarter. So I think for the Rebels, they're playing much better. They got to carry that over and keep that momentum here in this second half. And remembering that last week, Carver came out, first drive, big kickoff past midfield, 48-yard touchdown, and you just felt like the air came out of the stadium last week. So for Vestavia, the special teams to start the half, very important.
And also in that fourth quarter, you had Carver starting to get tired, starting to accelerate with cramps. It was exactly what Robert Evans and Vestavia Hills was wanting, what they predicted, what they forecasted. They were hoping to have it happen a little bit earlier. And we'll see if that massive offensive line for the Tigers and that big defensive line for the Tigers, if they start to get tired and they have to use numbers and use substitutions, and if the Rebels can take advantage of it. And so close, but yet so far, as you mentioned, Chad, just you got 2 could have been touchdowns. And I think later on during the year and certainly moving ahead, Charlie makes those passes and gets those touchdowns. We were talking, Chad and I were talking off air. You have a senior quarterback in Kilgore, a sophomore with 2.5, 3 years left to go in Taft. You could just see the little polish, a little bit more polish from Kilgore.
Yeah, when you play games, you get better at football by playing football. And that's just the reality. I think you saw an improvement again in Taft from week 1 to week 2. He's being a little more aggressive. He's making decisions more decisively. He's being smart. He's not forcing balls like maybe he did last week. And part of that was probably because the Rebels were behind and you had to take shots down the field. But I think you've seen improvement. You always hear the old adage, the most improvement you ever see is week 1 to week 2. And I don't know if that's true or not, but we've seen some real improvements. There have been a couple little mistakes here, some snap things that you haven't seen happen in the past. But I think defensively is the biggest part where Coach Evans and Chad Merrill, the defensive coordinator, they've clearly made some adjustments defensively where you've kind of closed the gap and there's not so many wide open running lanes offensively for Auburn.
Yeah, you brought up a great point. I was looking at this Auburn Tiger, the record, and again, Kilgore, who is a senior. He has probably started somewhere between 25 and 30-plus games. This is the second game for Charlie Taft. I mean, Kilgore's got 28-plus more games of experience.
And we asked Coach Evans this week, what did you say to Taft? Tough first start. Didn't go maybe exactly like you planned it to. You had some turnovers. And his response was, I didn't say anything. This is a kid that is level-headed. He understands the assignment. He's self-motivated. He'll look at the mistakes. He'll correct them, and he'll improve. And that's what we really love when we brought him up last year as a freshman. You could just see the demeanor that he has about him, the way that he carries himself. And that's the way he's carried himself leading up to last week. That's the way he's carried himself since last week and coming into tonight's game. Again, a little shaky start, some opportunities that were missed, but he seems to have settled down really well in that second quarter, and hopefully that carries over into the second half.
We talked about the turnovers. A little bit better job here. You had that deflected interception. And it wasn't a turnover, but as the Rebels were moving on that first set of downs, that third down snap, things didn't go right. But we talked to Robert Evans during the week, and how do you address turnovers? And he said, well, it's the pink elephant. That was the phrase that he used. So you don't want to say, but this pink elephant is in the room with you. So it's obvious, but it's not obvious.
And he does such a good job, again, of getting this team focused, getting ready. As the light show starts here at Duck Sanford Stadium, but having them ready and understanding, it doesn't matter. Don't get focused on one specific outcome, one specific situation. Stay focused on the big picture, stay level-headed, and go out there and make plays. And so that's what he's wanted to see from this football team.
You asked me to remind everybody, and I'm going to do it now with the lights. I would imagine that they're not operating on Wi-Fi. And we say that. We absolutely apologize from our entire crew. We found out about an hour before the game the Wi-Fi is completely out here at Duck Sanford, and our crew is doing their best. This will be replayed. You'll be watching this, everything that's happened. It'll be replayed a couple of hours from now. But thanks for being with us. And as we said, we can't wait to get to Thompson Reynolds next week when we get into Region 3 play. Big set of downs coming up after the kick for the Auburn defense. Again, or for the Rebels defense, rather, because Auburn, again, could score. They put up 24. The last thing you want to do is sit in that locker room and then 1-2 plays later, you're down 7 more points. Nice open field tackle. So Plott got hammered down.
That was Rush Harper, backup defensive lineman on kick coverage, and that's a great start. You know, Owen Simpson last year, I felt like it was a 60-70% touchback percentage. He's not had many. I think only one tonight, didn't have a single touchback last week. And if it's not going to get in the end zone, you have to have excellent coverage down the field on the kickoff team. That was a good job by Harper. And Auburn will start this drive on the 20-yard line.
One of your keys to the game is controlling running back Omar Mabson. Now, he's gotten his touchdowns, Chad, but he has not run roughshod over this Rebel defense. There's a handoff to the guy that we're talking about, and he does get good first down yardage, but a shoestring tackle prevented the first down.
And as a reminder to everyone, he's listed as a 3-star recruit, but he's had offers: Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas, Florida, more than 20 offers by all the schools you can imagine. USC came in the last couple of weeks, so he is a big-time recruit as a junior.
And there he goes for the first down. This is where Vestavia Hills needs containment. He's already out to the 45. So just 2 carries. And they'll mark it at the 44, but 2 carries, and Auburn now looking to get into Rebel territory.
And the one thing that Auburn does, again, they do this out of 4 wide. So they've got 5 offensive linemen, 4 receivers, and now Mabson in motion.
Mabson, your safety valve if needed. Here comes some pressure, and that ball is caught right at the tent. Your guess is as good as mine. It's Plott coming out of the Rebels tent.
You know, when in doubt, you might as well go with Plott. He's been phenomenal. And that's another example of just the patience of Jackson Kilgore. There was a lot of pressure in the backfield. He let everything develop and then delivered at the last minute.
So carry up the middle and some great yardage, gashing his way through. There's Kilgore.
We talked about the Vestavia defensive staff making adjustments there in that second quarter. and coming out and slowing this Auburn offense down. Clearly, Coach Keith Etheridge and this Auburn staff made some offensive adjustments at the half, and they've started out very strong on this first drive.
Now to pass. Caught and then out of bounds quickly. Plott. Again, we don't have stats, but Plott's got to be near.
He's got at least 10 catches.
10 catches, I was about to say.
And those are the kind of plays, maybe that's a little too long, but you'll take that. It's when they get the yards in the open field and start running that's where this Auburn receiving corps is really dangerous.
And now they get space, but falling down on that turf is Askew. Plott reminds me of a guy covered at Sanford for 4 years, Montrell Washington. And Chris Hatcher said for years, just get him in space. And that's what Etheridge is doing, trying to find Plott, number 2, in space. 3rd and 7, big third down play for the Rebs defensively. Handoff Mabson. And Mabson has enough now, and he keeps going inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, nice play design there. They almost got them with alignment. That time brought everything in tight. Typically, these receivers have been spread out wide. That time they walk them in, and then they go outside to Mabson, and just this big old offensive line was able to get leverage to the outside.
So the Rebels could not get a stop on 3rd down. They will try to prevent a touchdown. Mabson at the 14-yard line.
And you said it. Now your mindset changes to they're going to get points here. Let's see if we can come up with a big play, play solid defense, and hold them to 3.
Is it 7 or is it 3? Unless they make a mistake, they're going to come away with points, but the question is how many. That's Charlie Ward. And it's going to be Plott. Had a chance to wrap Plott up early, but he gets inside the 10. Charlie Ward was in. He had a lot of touches last week against North Miami, but rarely have we called his number tonight, number 3 for the Tigers.
And Daniel Richardson finally forced him out, but what a great run. I mean, just several opportunities to wrap him up, to get him down, and he just spins and gets out of it.
You would think Mabson, it's the pitch, and then Mabson makes his cut. Winds up at about the 3, maybe 2. One thing we didn't mention about Omar Mabson, besides the numerous offers, literally from coast to coast, he's also a 4.0 student. No wonder everybody wants him.
It's impressive.
Look for Mabson. He gets it on the pitch. And it appears he's going to be just shy of the end zone.
That's a great play again by this Rebel defense. Not giving in. Yates Bannon in on the play. Several other red helmets were there. Now 2nd down. And if I'm Auburn, I'm giving it right back to Mabson.
Yeah, no doubt. He has scored 6 touchdowns in 2 games. Looking for number 7. Hand off Mabson. There's the hole, and there's the touchdown. His 7th score of the year.
Those lights are cool, but I'm tired of seeing them. That drive there is very similar to the drive that Auburn started the game with. Just went up and down the field very quickly.
Very little resistance, unfortunately. And for the Rebs and Charlie Taff, a big possession after the kick. Like to see VH go down the field and get some points back. Point after is good, so it's 31-14. The Tigers lead the Rebels. Back in a moment.
At Birmingham Fastener, every day begins with our core values: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're on the lookout for talented individuals to join our sales and manufacturing teams at one of the nation's leading manufacturers. With over 15 locations nationwide, we offer endless opportunities for growth and success alongside incredible teammates. Be a part of shaping the future of American manufacturing and help us build our nation's infrastructure.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
Carson Mann was going to run it out, but a whistle, and it should be a touchback.
You don't want to overemphasize certain possessions or certain situations, but this is feels like a got-to-get-some-points situation for Vestavia.
I said that. I agree. We're on the same wavelength here. And, yes, there's time to go, but you want to get the psyche, the mental part of going back in. Show Auburn that you could score on them like they could score on you. Taff, short pass caught far side. That's man and man. Couple of yards. Carson Mann with a kickoff return for a touchdown in the first half. If you have just joined us, 31-14, the Tigers. See Littleton, the H-back, is in the backfield. He'll block for Carson Purdy. Purdy will come up around the 27.
Yeah, so here, third down. It's going to be about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. And this is the answer of, hey, we're still in this thing. We're still going to keep fighting. We're still coming at you. We're not going to lay over. You've got to beat us. And again, Vestavia has been fighting. It's just about executing.
Taff, he's got Purdy near side. And now Charlie tucks and runs, and that should be enough for a first down. He's out at about the 31. Good call, good decision.
Good job there. Could have thrown it. Looked like you had a receiver there who was open. Instead, Taft takes a lick at the end of that play, but doesn't put the ball in the air, converts that first down, and that's a big pickup for Vestavia to keep this drive alive.
Remember what they used to say about Timex watches. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Taff almost lost the ball. He falls forward, might have even gained a yard, maybe 2. But a dangerous play, and then Charlie made sure that he did not turn it over. Now they'll put him right back in the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure, Jed, where he was going or who he was looking for. It's hard to tell. Carson Purdy wears number 15. He is on the right hip of sophomore Charlie Taff. 3 wideouts to the far side. Taff on the run. Tucks 35 and more out to the 41. And he's going to be close to a first down on that.
That was a great effort by Taff. Looks like he's about a yard shy. And that time, as that play broke down, I love how Taff was able to escape. If he would have been able to look down the field, and he couldn't have because he had blue jerseys all around him. He had a receiver standing by himself, but good pressure by Auburn in the backfield.
That will be the first down. We have to remember, Rebels Nation, that Taff and the offense is doing this without their best runner.
That's a great point. We talked about it in the opening, but William Tonsmeyer, leading rusher from last year, your starting tailback, has not played in either of these first 2 games. He has a hamstring injury. They were hoping to get him back tonight, but the bottom line is they need him next week, and so they did not play him.
This is a pass going back to Taff. We have seen this before. Open room for Charlie. And down at the 45, but the ball is loose. And it looks like the Rebels did recover. They did.
Whit Williamson, Johnny on the spot to get there to recover that ball. Vestavia retains possession, and with 5 minutes, 47 seconds, we're at the Heat timeout. We'll take a break and be right back.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. God continues to renew that call over and over and over again to the people. Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
Back in Auburn at Duck Sanford Stadium.
And for the second time tonight, we saw a quarterback throwback. Put Bruce Littleton into the backfield. Again, he began his high school career as a quarterback. Has since moved to kind of that H-back spot, but went with the sweep to Littleton. He pulls up. He throws the ball back to Taff. Great run. Ball came loose. Fortunately for the Rebels, Whit Williamson was there to recover it. First down, Rebels, 38-yard line.
That's Whit Williamson in the backfield. It's Carson Mann on the move. Williamson, he's got some room inside the 30. Great run. And taken down at the 21-yard line. Whit Williamson with a first down carry. Comes out. Now Purdy comes back in. Purdy gets the handoff. Purdy inside the 20 at about the 14.
And that one was so close to going. J.D. Livingston, the senior offensive lineman, pulled around. It was right out in front, but just a nice tackle by Auburn.
Handoff. Inside the 10. Purdy to about the 6. Well, he's going to try to march in there, but he was taken down, Carson Purdy. A good-looking drive.
Running. In this Vestavia offensive line, push. And this is just downhill running. This Vestavia offensive line, push. And this is just downhill running.
Carson Purdy. Maybe lost the yard on that one. The hole wasn't developed that time on the right side. You got Landon Page, Pearson Tucker.
So the Rebels were successful twice, but not that third time. The Auburn defense comes up big. And now for the Rebels, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. You got to get 6. You've had a great drive. You've gotten down there. You want to be able to cash this thing in with a touchdown.
Fake. Taff. Incomplete. Third down play, good coverage, a very, very tight window.
The identical play that Vestavia ran when they had a 4th and short a little bit earlier in the ball game. Play action on the dive play. Littleton gets out into the flat. It was well defended by Auburn that time. They did not bite on the fake. B.J. McGee for the Tigers. And that time, Taft tried to force it in there, just couldn't make it happen. Now, 3rd and goal.
Realistically, you've got 2 chances to get in the end zone. Most of this drive has been on the ground. And the thing for Vestavia Hills is they get to milk this clock, keep the ball out of the hands of Auburn.
Well, the problem, they let too much time run off the clock there. Yeah, Coach Evans a little frustrated there. He had to burn a timeout, do the Rebels. And this is a big play in this ball game. Coach Evans is aggressive. He is not shy about going forward on 4th down, but in order to do that, you have to give yourself a chance. I think the mentality here is, I'm going to try to get the touchdown. I'm not playing for 2 downs. I'm going to try to get the ball in the end zone, but you can't force. You can't have an interception, a turnover here that would prevent you from getting any points. You have to get something on the board. But that said, if you get within that 2 or 3 yard line, I think you go for it on 4th down. So we'll see what happens here on this 3rd down. But the mentality here is, I'm going to score 6.
Do you have a forecast or a play you would like to see? Or
everything in this drive, since Vestavia's been on the Auburn side of the field, has been to the offensive right side. We've run the ball to the right side, had that play action there. If there's some kind of play fake where you could show run to the right, send Taft out to the wide side of the field, the left side of the field, maybe you can get something opened up in this formation. Luke Stubbs, the wideout, is out to the left. We've got an I formation in the backfield. Williamson at tailback, Littleton at fullback.
Pitch It's going to be a reverse, and they'll get tied up and snagged and thrown down. Luke Stubbs couldn't get rid of it. And a tough break, and now it looks like the Rebels have to go for a field goal. Chad?
I like that play call. I might have liked it better if it would have come to go the other way, right? Maybe you bring Littleton back around to throw it left-handed out to the left side. Nonetheless, it's an aggressive play call. Taft had a chance to get open, but just really well done by the Auburn defense.
35-yard attempt for Owen Simpson. Ed Simpson tacks on 3. We'll take a break. Vestavia Hills settles for a field goal. 31-17. Tigers out in front when we come back. We're back 31-17. The Tigers lead the Rebels. Third quarter. Kurt Bloom, Chad Pilcher. Under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. You look at the difference in the two teams. Remember, Auburn got down the field and they were able to get the ball in the end zone. Vestavia Hills had to settle for a field goal. Still 2 scores and you're right back in it. But you gotta get a 3 and out. And this one will start at the 20 for the Tigers.
The good news for Vestavia is you answered. You didn't answer with a touchdown, but you answered with points. You're giving yourselves a chance. And so now it's just like this tennis match, right? You put some points on the board, but now your defense has got to come up with a stop. See if they can come up with a big play. The Vestavia defense got better as the first half went along. Let's see if they improve from that first drive where, again, Auburn did whatever they wanted offensively, moving it up and down the field. Let's see if this defense can come up with some stops.
Mapson in the backfield. He has scored 3 times tonight, and he will get the carry. Right side of his line. And now a first down. Looked like, again, he would come up short, but nope.
He's so strong, stays behind his pads. And again, I want to talk about these young men that are playing. Just watching Spence Hanna, he's not 100% out there. And he's essentially just playing on guts out there. But he's limping around. Again, Watson's been injured as well, playing through it.
Roll out play. Then down the field and knocked down. Cross Tonsmeyer with the deflection.
Tonsmeyer is a guy that's listed at a linebacker position. He's playing safety right now. And that just tells you where this Vestavia defense is. There's so many guys that are injured and that are hurt. They don't have a ton of depth as it is. You've just got to move guys around. Tonsmeyer played the safety position, more of a strong safety last year. But right now, he was at a free safety spot to deflect that pass.
He had 6 tackles and an interception last week. That's complete, and stepping out of bounds is Antonio Welch.
They're going to mark him a yard short. That's going to be a 3rd and 1 for Auburn. And just a lot of cushion on that one. Nobody even close to plot as he caught that ball.
Yeah, 3rd and 1, and Mabson not on the field. Kilgore not afraid to call his own number 11. Boy, everybody's checking their wrists. Do they got the right play? Under center for a moment. Back away. Clock's got to be ticking near 30 seconds. Man on the move. It is a fake of a sweep, and then Kilgore keeps it and dives ahead for what looks like to be a first down.
And that play worked. But sometimes you think coaches maybe outthink themselves. If I've got Mabson on my team and I've got a 3rd and 1, I appreciate that run by Kilgore, but I'm giving it to the guy that's been doing it all night.
And I got a senior quarterback who I also feel will not make mistakes.
That's right. And that's the thing about this team. It's weapons all over the place.
So Mabson gets back in. 3 wide receivers to our near side. Kilgore over the 50 and into Rebel territory before he is taken down at the 39 after a long rush by Jackson Kilgore. They're on the move, Mr. Pilcher.
You get the feeling Vestavia's going to need some type of turnover if they're going to be able to flip the score in this one.
In motion, but Mabson, they had a tackle, or they had a chance to take him down again, but he winds up with a massive gain. There's always somebody around his hip. Spence Hanna with the tackle, but about 3 yards in, he's hit, and he just keeps going. He's so strong.
Yeah, Watson was the one in the backfield that had a chance, and you just wonder if Watson was 100%, does he make that play?
Kilgore looks to go through the air. He's got some room running on the right side inside the 20, 15, and punched out of bounds at about the 8. Tuck and run for Jackson Kilgore when his receivers were covered, but Auburn on the move.
We've got a Vestavia defender down on the Auburn sideline. Looks like that's Grayson Bruno. So the trainers will come to look at him. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
(31-17). Auburn out in front of Vestavia Hills, but it will also be a first and goal for the Tigers.
Unfortunately, it looks like they're working on a cramp over there on the sideline, so that's good news.
Yeah, the bad news is it doesn't matter who it was that went down. There's just no bodies.
No.
There's no backups. There's no depth because of the numerous injuries sustained last week and actually technically sustained in preseason going into the regular season.
And that's Grayson Bruno, who's been outstanding in these first 2 games this season. He's limping off on his own accord, but again, you'll have to get a lot of liquids. And unfortunately with cramps, if you've ever had them, they might go away for a little bit, but they're going to come right back as soon as you start exerting yourself again, especially on a night like this. It was 97 at kickoff. It's cooled off a little bit, but it's still pretty hot.
And it will be a first and goal, as mentioned, for Auburn and Jackson Kilgore. Don't see Mabson. He gets a bit of a break instead. Charlie Ward. Here comes the reverse on the jet sweep, and a touchdown, just outrunning everybody to the end zone. Speed kills, and this time it's Askew.
Typically in a high school football game, when you're calling this type of game and you see a big player, you see a speed sweep, and you're like, oh, well, that's so-and-so runs that play for them, or this guy runs that play for them, or, oh, it was fast. It's got to be that guy. Not with this Auburn offense. They've got 5, 6 guys that all look the same, and they're so fast and so quick and are so dynamic.
Daniel for the PAT, and it is 38-17. Auburn in front of Vestavia Hills. Will be back from the Plains after this.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Alabama. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the AHSAA.
Back from Duck Sanford Stadium. Chad, you did the research. Who is Duck Sanford?
He is a businessman in the state of Alabama, had a grandfather who was governor. He played football at Auburn. was a very successful businessman who was involved in a lot of children's charities, but also owned the land where this entire park. It's not just a football field. You got baseball fields, tennis courts, entire facility. But Mr. Sanford donated this land, and they named the stadium and the park after him.
Good return for the Rebels. Whit Williamson. Well, we said that Vestavia Hills had to score. They did, but they only came up with 3. They gotta go back and put some more points on the scoreboard now.
And you want to go fast-ish, but you want to stay controlled. Try to go just get a touchdown. That's all you can control.
Williamson in motion, and instead it's man. 36-yard line. Carson Mann, who scored on a return earlier.
And that's a really good first down play, but that play was set up so well. If Mann could have somehow just gotten around one defender and come to this side, there was so much green grass. The blockers were set up. He just got a little bit tripped up and had to cut it up.
See the offense gradually getting better, straight up the middle.
And I think that's one thing that we're going to see as this season goes along. We'll see how the score ends up tonight. Obviously, we know the score 41-19 last week. The offense with a sophomore quarterback, with some young guys in, without your starting tailback, what we're going to see in week 5 or 6 or 7 from this offense is going to be a drastic improvement for what we're seeing right now.
Fake to Williamson, and the man over the middle who's been busy today is Littleton, the H-back. Bruce Littleton, a senior.
And you can see the confidence in Taft growing just in these first 7 quarters. The way he's standing there in the pocket, the way he's delivering the football, it's a very strong, confident throw. And that was a nice completion and another first down.
Incomplete. Luke Stubbs, the intended receiver. I'm just wondering out loud if Littleton near the goal line is going to be more of a factor because of his size.
I think he absolutely will be. You're going to see him go into that wildcat look. He went into it last week, or excuse me, in the Jamboree in that first game. We did not see it last week. There weren't many opportunities, and we didn't see it earlier in the ballgame, but I think you're certainly going to see that in not only the goal line, but the short yardage situations.
Fake, and then Taft is going to be gobbled up, swallowed up. Caleb Pitts, the defensive end.
Pitts is a really good player. He's committed to play at Appalachian State next year, and we haven't said his name a ton, but you can see just the way he carries himself, 6'3", 265 pounds, very athletic defensive end, and he did not bite on that fake at all. And I will say that's something that I've been impressed with tonight for Auburn for the most part. They have not bit on a ton of the misdirection, kind of play fake plays that Vestavia has run. They've stayed solid. They've stayed in their position and done a really good job, and they've prevented Vestavia from some of these big plays.
Third quarter will empty out. It'll be a third down when Vestavia Hills comes back. And from Auburn, Chad and I will take a timeout where the Tigers lead the Rebs 38-17.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. Use your tax money for something that will make a huge impact at no cost to you. For more information, go to choosera.org.
3 quarters in the books, 1 remaining. 38-17 is the score. Auburn out in front of Vestavia Hills. From midfield, Taft looking to make a big play. In trouble, avoids, and then gets to the 45 of Auburn.
Good decision by Taft. Didn't force anything down the field. Didn't make a mistake. And I'll bring on the punting unit for Vestavia. That tackle was made by Jackson Lovern. You know, I spent a lot of time at Montgomery, work a lot at the State House. His father is Joe Lovern's a member of the Alabama legislature, chairman of the Rules Committee, which is a pretty powerful position. So Representative Lovern, Chairman Lovern's son Jackson made the tackle there.
High kick. And Vestavia Hills, they almost kept it alive. Rebels almost kept that one from going in the end zone. Almost doesn't count.
But Owen Simpson's had a whale of a night. I mean, just a great job. That's the second time. We had the big kick right before the half that pinned Auburn back inside the 10-yard line. That time gave his team a chance to down that one inside the 10. Good effort by the Rebels special team, just didn't quite make the play. And so Auburn takes over on the 20-yard line.
Rebels, not only do they need a stop, here we are in the fourth quarter, but you said it earlier, turnover right around now, turnover and maybe even a score on that turnover to get back in the game here. Mapson is on the move. And Kilgore with a lot of room near side. You see him running to 25, 30, 35, turns upfield. Might be a horse collar at the end of that play. He was dragged down. He looks right at the Rebels sideline.
And that's just one of those situations where Vestavia only rushed 4. And with that offensive line being so good, so big, just no pressure at all. Just none. Was not able to get anything. And so Kilgore sitting there in the backfield. He had 7 defenders, so it was well defended down the field. There was nowhere for him to go. But Kilgore wisely tucks it, takes off, gets a big run, and then the horse collar is going to add another 15 yards onto it.
There aren't many plays tonight, I could chuckle in my own head here, where we've had a good view. Again, this is a very obstructed vantage point for us. But that one is so open for Kilgore to run. That was one of the few plays. It was right in front of us, and you saw nothing but AstroTurf. And you tack on, and now the Tigers are in Rebel territory. 48-yard line. Mabson, left side of the line. And then Mabson goes down the 44-yard line. Omar Mabson, a junior. 3 touchdowns this week, 4 last week. I don't know who in the nation after 2 weeks has 7 or more touchdowns, with the exception of Mabson. He stays in with Kilgore. Mabson on the RPO, and this time the Rebels sniff him out.
Spence Hanna, Jacob Watson did not practice this week, either of those guys. They're hurt, they're injured, they can't practice, they're resting, they're taking mental reps, and they're showing up on Friday night and they're fighting for their team. And late in this fourth quarter, they just made that tackle together.
Third down, Mabson, he finds the hole, and he is tackled from behind, and I don't know if they got the collar on him.
Looks like a flag came out late. They're going to get that one as well.
Yeah, Hanna.
It's the correct call.
Yeah, Hanna hit the ground. And that horse tackle might have saved a touchdown.
Watson comes off the field. That might be the last play of the night for him. Played his guts out.
Wow. This is a long one again. Second 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, and when you get tired, a lot of times you're just going to reach and grab, and that's when these types of penalties start happening.
First down and 10 at the 21. Mabson over the right side of his line. At the 15-yard line. Spence Hanna comes out of that pile, and you could almost record me saying that and just insert it, Chad, in just about every play defensively, right?
No, he is so good, and he just understands what's happening, what's going on, and he's a just a ball. He's so aggressive to the football. You see him flying downhill. The second he knows it's a run and there's not a pass play, I am coming downhill and I'm going to hit you. And he's been doing it for several years, and he's done it well tonight.
Empty backfield. Man on the move. Kilgore sends his wide receiver, goes to the end zone. It is a touchdown instead of an interception. Plott winds up with it, and the Rebels cannot believe it. It looked like it was going in the hands of Vestavia Hills, and Plott just stood there. It went through the defender, and Peyton Plott with
I thought it hit Downey's hands. I mean, he went up. It looked like he had that ball in his hands. But another touchdown for Plott. And again, another great job by Kilgore of just extending that play and finding the open receiver.
And the PAT is also good. 45-17, Auburn in front here in the fourth quarter. We'll be back from Auburn, Alabama after this. So the Tigers add another touchdown, 45-17. Auburn in front of Vestavia Hills, fourth quarter. And out comes Vestavia Hills, taken down at the 25, and then there's a wrestling match. It had nothing to do with the play, but the guys are still hitting.
So Coach Evans going to start making some adjustments. Bryce Lemaster comes in the football game at quarterback. Charlie Taft's night is done. Taft played better tonight than he did last week, and it's improvement. Lemaster played pretty well last week. Had one interception, a ball he tried to force, but he looked really good. We'll see what he does now as he gets an opportunity with 9 minutes, 4 seconds left in this fourth quarter.
Whitmire wants the outside. Auburn on top of it. Last week for Lemaster, 3 out of 7. One interception, but he also threw that touchdown pass to Noah Boylan.
And we talked about it earlier in the ball game, but especially for Lemaster as a quarterback, Taft as well. The way you get better at football is by playing football. And so these are invaluable reps that he's getting here.
Lemaster, short pass caught on the run. Hits his man in stride. A nice reception and run for Carson Purdy out of the backfield. And that might be coming back as well. There is laundry on the field at the 20. That big gainer looks like it's coming back. Beautiful out route there out of the backfield.
Well
Caught on
executed.
the run.
And that's something that you see, these kind of play concepts that Vestavia has done really well, executed well. That's the second time we've seen tailback out of the backfield. Earlier in the ball game, Vestavia scored a touchdown on tailback out of the backfield down the hash mark. This time it was outside the numbers. Beautiful ball by Lemaster. Nice job of going up using his hands, but unfortunately the penalty is going to bring that one back.
Safe handoff. Purdy. About the 22-yard line. Carson Purdy. He had 10 carries last week and probably near that again this week. Also caught a couple of balls last week out of the backfield. Now it looks like a Tiger is down. One of their defenders. And that's a cramp as well.
This is the point in the ball game where I really wish we had our stats just so we could look at it. I think the big takeaway is for 2 weeks in a row, Vestavia's run up against just a super athletic, super talented skill position team with outstanding players at the skill positions. Last week, Carver with the we saw Norman, the receiver, just the guys going to all different colleges, and they were able to get the big plays. Tonight against Auburn, it hasn't been the deep ball, it hasn't been the big play, but it's been those underneath plays and those speed sweeps where you just see the athleticism and then just finishing off plays in the running game with Mabson and the way that he just brings it, stays behind his pads and just keeps his legs moving. He's a dynamic back. And so I will say to Vestavia's credit, you haven't seen those big time, 80-yard plays, but it's those 20 and 30-yard plays that just eat you up.
The explosive plays have been pretty much eliminated. But Auburn is so fast on the end. LeMaster goes down to the 25. Auburn is so fast with their wideouts. And it was on tape last week. Welch, Reef, Askew, Plott.
And Auburn has said, the Auburn coaching staff has said they believe this is the fastest wide receiver core they've ever had at this school, and it'd be hard to find anybody to argue on that one.
Plus a massive offensive line, plus a senior quarterback. You mentioned it earlier, this region 2 loaded. Simpson, did he get it? No, he got deflected, and it will be Auburn inside the 10. By the time they got to Owen Simpson, deflected, and now Auburn with fantastic field position.
We've talked all night how Simpson's recognized that there's no rush for Auburn. He's taking his time. He's taking a couple extra steps. I think he was anticipating that happening again. He took too long, and Auburn was able to get in the backfield. They didn't rush a ton. They just brought a couple. And that ball is blocked, and now Auburn's knocking on the door, ready to put more points on the board.
And they've got a 1st and goal with under 7 minutes remaining. Next week, first home game for the Rebels at Thompson Reynolds Stadium, Buddy Anderson Field. Hewitt Trussville against the Rebs next week. Kilgore still in there, trying to engineer one more drive. This is Kilgore headed towards the end zone, cut down before he can get there at around the 2. His backup is Crawford Loffridge, and we have not seen him. Or we haven't seen him yet because he comes in now. Kilgore sets it up for Loffridge, the junior quarterback. A lot of room on the left side, and Charlie Ward prances in for 6 more. Right now it's 51-17. Auburn in front. And PAT would make it 52. In fact, they've scored so much they got a backup kicker in there right now. You give Joseph Daniel the rest of the night off as well. And PAT punched up and in, 52-17. The Tigers lead the Rebels. Chad and I will be back. Final 6 minutes coming up when we return.
At Birmingham Fastener, every day begins with our core values: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're on the lookout for talented individuals to join our sales and manufacturing teams at one of the nation's leading manufacturers. With over 15 locations nationwide, we offer endless opportunities for growth and success alongside incredible teammates. Be a part of shaping the future of American manufacturing and help us build our nation's infrastructure.
Closing their will. Now this was team, 3, and then this week it was either 4 or 5, depending on the polls. I mean, you're looking at Vestavia Hills with a monster out-of-region schedule.
Yeah, and this coaching staff knew it. They knew when the
they did.
schedule was put together. Just keep in mind, Homewood, Mountain Brook go off the schedule. You're trying to fill the schedule. Coach Evans went out and put together one of, if not the strongest schedule in the state of Alabama. You start with a top 10. I think Carver's a little higher than 8, just based on what I've seen, especially if they play as strong as they did defensively. You look there, then Auburn this week, and it doesn't get any easier. Hewitt, Hillcrest, Thompson, and it's these next 3 weeks that will probably determine Vestavia's fate with respect to the playoffs. So these first 2 games were to get ready for those next 3 games.
I know our crew can't wait to get back to Thompson-Reynolds Stadium.
And that's kind of how the night's gone, right? Wow. The kickoff, you got a chance to return it, and your knee goes down. It's just been a tough night. I mean, the biggest takeaway is they put up 52, did Auburn. Last week, Carver put up 41. Coach Evans told us, look, I feel confident with the way our guys can come out and play, but the reality is they knew that Auburn was better. They felt like Auburn was better than Carver coming into this ball game, and I think that's proven itself true. I was very impressed with what we saw with Carver last week. I've been just as impressed with what we've seen with Auburn here tonight. The thing from a Vestavia perspective is it's still early in the season. There's still guys getting acclimated to their role on this football team. There's a nice run up the middle to start this drive. But you're doing it without your starting tailback. And I think, Tonsmeyer, you cannot overstate what it means to have a senior tailback, a guy who had over 800 yards last year, who's a leader on this football team. He was dressed out tonight in the pregame, but he didn't run around very much. And the reality is you've got to have Tonsmeyer next week to have that chance against Hewitt. And so they decided to let him go. Owen Wilbanks, again, is out. He broke his arm running into a wall last week at the Crampton Bowl. Chase Webb, seen him down there in a cast on his hand, so he's out several weeks. And these are the types of things that if you have one of those injuries, maybe you can overcome them. You have all those things together, not to mention, again, Watson, Hannah playing injured, fighting through it. It's tough. And so this team's going to have to fight forward. And if you're out there watching, show up next Friday night. These kids need a packed stands next week, cheering them on. Last year, everything was going really, really well for Vestavia, and they came up against Hewitt, and Hewitt just took it to them. Just took it to them. This is a chance to come back and really make a statement that, yeah, I know our first 2 scores haven't been real pretty, but this is still a team that you're going to have to reckon with going forward. And so the first step of that is it happens next week. And as tough as this game is, and as tough as lopsided as this score is going to be, in reality, you want to win every game you play, but these 2 games don't matter with respect to the playoffs. Everything that determines your fate with respect to the playoffs starts next week. And so that's what's on the table when the Rebels take the field next Friday night at Thompson-Reynolds Stadium.
As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter the coach or the sport, but to get better in your own conference, you want to play up out of conference. A very simple statement. And for Robert Evans and the Rebels, they have played up to a pair of teams that are, I would say, averaging no worse than top 5s, top 6. It'll be a punt on 4th. High, booming punt. Look at that ball travel, and a good bounce as well. Through the lens of my binoculars, there's one thing from the whistle to the whistle. Every single guy here in a Rebels uniform has given everything they have got. They're going to be exhausted when they get on that bus. As we mentioned, 97 degrees at game time, and nobody has given up. The score says 52-17, and the score doesn't lie, but through the binoculars watching this entire game, and you just see every guy in a Rebel uniform playing their heart, and you said earlier their guts out. So many guys are banged up, dinged up. You can use a You can use an off week if you can get one, but that's not coming for a while. And with 3:34 remaining in the game, it's not yet victory formation, but it's very close. You got backup numbers everywhere. And there's a rush for Larico Eccles. And if you had Larico Eccles on your bingo card, then you just hit it.
Nice tackle there by Reese McLean.
Did you see, Chad? Did you see McLean and the rest of the Rebel defenders still trying to stop him as if it was a 4th and goal? Eccles. The pushback on Eccles.
Love the effort. Love the way they're playing. That's what this coaching staff demands from these young men, and it's been great effort coming out. That time the tackle was made by Carter Metcalf on the play. And we've talked about it, and I don't want to be redundant, but again, last week, if you go by the Alabama Sports Writers Association poll, Carver Montgomery, last week's opponent, number 8. Auburn, tonight's opponent, number 4 in the state in 7A football. Next week's opponent, Hewitt-Trussville, number 7, and Hewitt is currently beating Gadsden City 42-14. Gadsden's a top 10 6A team.
Good one-on-one tackle.
The following week, you play Hillcrest Tuscaloosa, who's bumped up from 6A to 7A. They're in the rank number 9. And then week 5, it's Thompson, who lost last week to Grayson out of the state of Georgia to fall to 0-1. Thompson's still the 3rd-ranked team in the state of Alabama. So it's been hard. It gets harder. And that's what Vestavia signed up for this year. I think you're going to learn a lot of lessons from these first 2 games. You've seen a lot of improvement these first 2 games. The scoreboard doesn't tell you that, but you've seen development. And if you get everybody back and semi-healthy next week, you're going to have an opportunity to compete and win that football game.
I've talked about this a couple times early, that there were a lot of sophomores on this team, including both quarterbacks that we have seen tonight, Taff and LeMaster. Noah Boylan, who has gotten a couple carries here in the 4th quarter, sophomore. Grayson Harper, you've mentioned his name a couple of times at one of the H-backs. He's a freshman, and I mean, the future is bright. It's not going to be easy, but mixing in a blend of youth and experience.
And it's hard. When you play young guys at the varsity level, it happens fast. And that just takes a little bit of time to adjust to and to get prepared for. You hope that adjustment phase has happened these next 2 weeks, because next week it gets real.
Yeah, it gets real. It's region play. Bucky McMillan, head coach over at Sanford basketball, he has said to the media that his non-conference record means nothing. He doesn't care if he goes 0-13. You got different offenses, different defenses, different substitutions, but his conference play, that's the real season. And the real season will begin next week at home after 2 outstanding opponents for the Rebels.
You mentioned Noah Boylan earlier. He's done a really good job when he's gotten his opportunities in the early season. There's a nice carry by Boylan. He picks up 7 yards on first down.
Boylan, as I found out during the week, is one of 4 Boylan boys. And we got 2 of them on the varsity football team. There's 2 more, a little bit younger. So we got a sophomore quarterback, a sophomore running back. More runs for Boylan. He does run hard, very good with his feet. He's out at around the 24-yard line as we are getting near the end. Under a minute remaining.
And we'll repeat again, Vestavia at home next week to begin region play against Hewitt-Trussville. If you're in town, come out. Watch these young men. If not, we'll be back. We will be hardwired, plugged in to the internet in our home stadium and bring you all the action. So you're welcome to join us here next week and throughout the season.
Probably the final play of the game. One more shot for Boylan, and he gets over the 30.
This is one of those games you tip your hat to Auburn. Head coach Keith Etheridge. He won 4 state championships at Leeds. He won another state championship at Oxford High School at the 6A level, and now he's got something really special going. We didn't even mention this. Auburn last year got beat in the second round, but before that, 2022, they lost in the state finals to Thompson. 2021, they lost in the semifinals to Central Phoenix City. 2020, they lost in the finals to Thompson. 2019, they lost in the semis to Central Phoenix City. This is a powerhouse program that Coach Etheridge has built upon here at Auburn High School. They look really, really good this year, and they came away tonight with a 52-17 victory over Vestavia Hills.
Let me mention one more time that Wi-Fi issues, which were completely out of our control, 100% out of our control. This will be, you'll be watching this a little bit later on, not live. Perhaps you're just trying to find out what's going on, and we certainly hope that you are a part of the broadcast, and then we hope to see you next week at Thompson Reynolds Stadium. For Chad Pilcher, John Versiglio, and the rest of this Vestavia Hills crew, this is Kurt Bloom, CB, telling you the final score, Auburn 52, Vestavia Hills 17, and we will see you next week on campus.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. God continues to renew that call over and over and over again to the people. Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. Use your tax money for something that will make a huge impact at no cost to you. For more information, go to choosera.org.
This is Coach Robert Evans at Vestavia High School. I want to personally thank you for tuning in to tonight's game. We appreciate your support, and go Rebels.